Welcome to my journey. It's a journey that starts again and again with my first step on every new trail I hit running, and that started as I started my master's program with this first course. When I began the journey on this master's program, I was riddled with feelings similar to those at the beginning of a new run. High anticipation of what's to come, the desire to work hard, a bit of nervous energy. But ultimately, I felt that I had sure footing and knew what path I was on. Little did I know that I was going to lose my footing somewhere along the way. On any journey we embark upon, there are some supplies we need to get us to our destination. Sometimes they're physical supplies, and sometimes they're character aspects we need to help us persevere. For running, I always bring my vodka and my running heels. Just kidding. The thing I love about running is that there are actually very few physical supplies needed. A good pair of runners, water, bug spray is an essential on the trails, sometimes bear spray, a map or some knowledge of the trail, and a lot of perseverance. In teaching, there's a skill set that good teachers bring that was reinforced for me through our learnings in this course. We need to bring these tools to our teaching so that ultimately we help our students develop the abilities they need to embark on their own solid paths. We need to be caring. We need to bring our enthusiasm, our passion, respect. We need to create a safe environment for learning where students are able to take risks and make mistakes. And we need to model courage. Also, we need to teach a curriculum. This point seems so obvious and simplistic until we began to unpack it in this course. For me, it made me pause, step back, and start to analyze the what and why behind health education, both formally and informally. What do we teach? It also made me pause and think about what the hidden curriculum might be. What aren't we teaching? And by default, what does that teach? So much to consider. All this analysis began to complicate my thinking and left me wondering, how do we decide where to go? How do we not get overwhelmed by all the critical thinking and actually choose a direction to go? The story we heard by Robert Fulghum, Are There Any Questions?, really resonated with me. Truth, understanding, and knowledge are there and will only shine in many dark places if we reflect it. It is my belief that reflecting this light into dark places is what we do when we empower our students. Help them to let their own light shine, let them ask the tough questions, and help them find their own solutions to the problems they pose. One of my center beliefs is that learning always begins by asking powerful questions. Hopefully we're asking the right questions too. The path I chose was picked by the people I brought with me on my run, namely the students. They knew what they wanted and where they wanted to go. They didn't know how to get there, but they were motivated. What happened for us was we went to a conference in Kananaskis, hosted by Everactive Schools. At this conference, many of the sessions reinforced for us the need to take health education to a deeper level within our schools. We were pondering this notion, and then we received the gift of an aha moment in the very last session of the conference we were at. A panel of grade 11 and 12 students were invited to speak to us about why daily physical activity is important to them in their lives at school. They emphasized how powerful and necessary it was for them to have that opportunity to move each day. They shared the stresses of their lives and what DPA did for them to help them cope. It was a very powerful learning experience listening to them. It made it very hard to understand why we weren't finding better ways to make this happen for our students. We left that conference knowing in our work we needed to involve the students more. We felt that if we gave them the opportunity to express their concerns, let them develop an inquiry project around a key issue, and gave them some tools and support to help find solutions, that this might be a great way to support student health. And thus was the creation of our Got Health initiative, a student-led inquiry designed to help students address their health concerns. We took the plunge right into this initiative after attending that conference. We just dove right in, which is the way I approach my running too. I pick a trail and go for it. So we developed a plan, got committee approval, and sent out the grant opportunity for schools and student teams to apply to. But what were the assumptions that we made? This course has made me look at my assumptions and think about what my critical lens is. I approach teaching from a kid-centered perspective. I believe that inquiry is important, and I believe we need to address health in schools. And it was at this point I began the hard climb. This is where I lost my footing a little. It can be hard and scary to face our assumptions and to look at the lens one uses when there's a chance of finding out that maybe our assumptions have been wrong or need to be altered. But ultimately, the only way to make the climb on our own or with our students is to put our heart into it. In the words of William James, if you care enough for the result, you will almost always attain it. That being said, I still needed to step back and look at the accepted framework for health promotion, comprehensive school health. It is the internationally recognized framework of the World Health Organization and has been accepted as the model by over 43 countries worldwide. I had just accepted this model too without asking any questions about it, without looking at what its limitations are, why it's the chosen framework, or even how it was chosen. The interesting part of stepping back and critically analyzing this framework was the thought of what would we do if we found large reasons not to use comprehensive school health? Would we have to change our path? What would that look like? To critically reflect on this area felt like jumping off a cliff. All of our work is currently structured around the framework. What would we do if we needed to change? And so we stormed the Citadel. I dove into the research and the theories about comprehensive school health. I also began to explore the power issues in health and to see if our instincts about creating opportunities for students to be empowered, to share their voice, and to lead inquiry projects were effective ways to address health issues. It was also a time for me to look back at the wake we leave behind, where on trailed our muddy footprints. Is our approach and what we teach right, wrong, justifiable? What are the lasting effects of what we do and how we do it? And do we have the courage to avoid groupthink and take our own path if our learnings and the research point us in a different direction? Through these highs and lows of the journey, I found persistence to be essential. And collaboration is very important, as long as it involves critical reflection and true sharing of ideas. We are part of a team and need to find ways to step out of working in isolation. It is important to me in my running to be part of a group. Part of my training takes place on my own, but the group keeps me going. As Parker Palmer says, if we want to grow as teachers, we must do something alien to academic culture. We must talk to each other about our inner lives. Risky stuff in a profession that fears the personal and seeks safety in the technical, the distant, the abstract. We must give ourselves and our students the time we need to learn. Learning takes time, and the more we honor this fact, the more true, authentic learning can take place. Allowing for time opens us up to be creative. Creativity has been an important part of our Got Health initiative. The initiative itself is a creative endeavor, and each team project is unique to the students that create it and their school environment. And I will come back to face again and again this issue of curriculum like never before. I feel as though I have just begun to crack the surface of my thinking and look forward to delving deeper into the issue of health curriculum and what that means. But in everything, we must remember to celebrate our journey and the successes we do experience along the way. We need to celebrate on our own and with our students. Even though the journey continues, it's a time to pause, reflect, enjoy, and take it all in before we keep going.